I'm Christopher Titus, and this is the Armageddon Update. Our first podcast that we ever did was about the Gabby Gifford shooting, and that was 11 years ago. And today, more than a decade later, I drove to the studio crying. I was listening to them read about the 19 kids that were slaughtered in Texas and the teachers that tried to protect those kids. And last week, I was driving to the studio, and I cried as I heard a daughter in Buffalo screaming that her mother and her were supposed to go see the Temptations, and the tickets were still on the table. This could be about any of us, and more frequently it is. Nowhere else in the world is there this much gun death. I mean, except, Ukraine. And people say, let's don't make it political. But that's what it is, because it's not all of us letting this happen. It's not both sides taking money from gun manufacturers and the NRA. It's only one side, the Republicans. And in my opinion, the Republican Party is the party of death. And it's not just guns, people, it's healthcare. The rest of the world has healthcare. Guess what? They don't die sick and bankrupt like we do here, owing thousands in medical bills, killing any shot for generational wealth, or dying years earlier because you can't even afford to go to urgent care. The GOP cuts regulations for pollution, clean air, clean water, so you die earlier. They told their own constituents that wearing a mask or getting vaccinated was losing their freedom. The death toll for Republican voters from COVID is 2.26 times higher than Democratic voters. Do you get that? The GOP said it was a hoax. The GOP is the party of death. And economics? Okay, they voted against a bump in your minimum wage. Republicans blocked you making more money. It's been shown that income relates to how long you live. Do you know that? They convinced their voters that government health care was taking away your freedom, and that everyone having voting rights was taking away your freedom, that gay people getting married takes away your freedom, that 4 trans kids countrywide playing softball somehow takes away your freedom, that a woman having a right to her own body is taking away your freedom, that sound gun laws that work worldwide take away your freedom. With these little kids, they lost all their freedom forever, and their parents will never be free from the pain. 10 people in Buffalo lost their freedom, and their families will never be free from the devastating grief, ever. And I know I'm just a dipshit comedian with a podcast, because that's a thing now. But my daughter had a shooting at her school in front of it. Her best friend was shot. He lived. My son was at the school when it went off, and he ran. Both my kids got lucky, but our kids live with that every day. A low-level fear that at any time, any moment, they can be fucking killed. You know, my wife and I both clock the exits when we go to a store or a restaurant. In America, you have to actually do recon before you can order an entree. My mom and my lovely sister both shot themselves to death because the man that they were living with just had guns lying around, not locked up. And the Democrats, man, they keep putting legislation forward, and the Republicans keep on blocking it. And these are just facts. But the fact is, the GOP is the party of death. You know, we have a mass shooting at least once a week, and we have so many mass shootings, most don't make the news anymore. Hell, after we got 600 shot and 59 dead in Vegas, you got to bring the heat to make it to prime time. You know, it's like we saw the card trick, and we got bored. Now, to really make an impact, 10 black people in a supermarket just isn't enough. You got to cut 19 kids and 2 teachers in half with an AR-15. And I watched today as Greg Abbott talked about pain and sadness while his assistant booked him a fucking ride to the NRA convention. Mitt Romney put out a thoughts and prayers tweet while he counted the $13 million that he got from the NRA. So it's a political issue, because the only reason it keeps happening is because of politics. The GOP is literally voting in favor of killing Americans for money. The GOP is the party of death. And to all of you touched by gun violence, and boy, we are a club that just fucking keeps getting bigger, isn't it? Fight, vote. Let's get rid of this party of death in the next election, okay? And just make America party again. Mappa. I'm Christopher Titus, and this is the Armageddon Update. Little kids, man. Hey everybody, Christopher Titus Podcast. With me as always, the lovely Bombshell Ray.
What's up, people?
And the Hylinder.
There could be only one.
So, thanks for watching Armageddon Update. The Armageddon Update was not a funny one. It was me kind of saying, I think what needs to be said in America right now. You know, we seem to be under siege. Well, don't seem to be. There's a mass shooting every day now, every 2 days.
Yep.
You know, I mean, we had Buffalo. And then it were 10 older people got killed shopping. And then we have Uvalde where 19 kids.
It wasn't all older people, but it was a majority.
It was mostly. It was like eight. It was like 8 grandmas and grandpas, and then 2 other. And then the cop that was the good guy with the gun shot. He got killed.
Yeah.
And then we had Uvalde with 19 kids and 2 teachers were slaughtered to the point where their bodies were unrecognizable. They had to actually swab parents for DNA to match them with their children. And then we had Tulsa. We had one in New York. We had another one in. And oh, by the way, and the reason they're not making the big news is because, you know, they haven't top 19 yet. You know, you got it. Now we got it. As I said in the
that's our new number.
Yeah,
that's our new scoreboard.
Yeah. Our low is going to make the news or not. Rachel said something really interesting today about how bad the shootings are.
He was saying that we hadn't heard about or from Putin in some time. And I said, I know. Imagine being in a country where your domestic violence is so bad that it fills up the news cycle and you don't hear anything about the world war.
The world war that's starting.
So bad.
Yes. Basically, so it's so rough right now that all we're hearing about is the current war that Americans are foisting on each other.
Yeah,
we have
ours
more guns
is beating,
here. We have more guns here than the entire Russian.
400 million. We have like 400 million. We have more guns than people, which means it's per person, it's 1.2 guns per person as opposed to the rest of the world. So
ridiculous.
What's bothering me is that so here's what happened. And this always happens. You have to remember, as I said in the Armageddon Update, we have done this for 12 years now. Gabby Gifford shooting was our first Armageddon Update. And what was that? Remember how crazy that fucker looked?
Yes.
The guy that shot, he was like,
was that the guy with the orange hair?
No, that was
green
Batman.
hair?
Right. You're mixing up your mass shootings. That one.
I can't keep them straight.
That one was the Aurora theater shooting. Right. That was from Batman.
Do you know how pathetic this is right now? That you're like, was that the one? No, that was the one.
Oh, wait, no,
remember that one. But remember
that was James Holmes.
Like, do you know how crazy that is?
The guy who thought he was the Joker
kind of conversation
and shot up a Batman theater. And then we had the other guy. God, what was his name? But he had that Manson look and his
kid that shot Gabby Giffords, you mean?
Yeah, he had the
Wasn't it Jared something?
No, that was not Jared Leto. Jared Leto's just
shut up.
He's just pulling
we do believe there's a little mental illness in Jared Leto, but it's not, he's never shot anybody.
There's definitely something going on.
He's never shot anybody.
Jared Loeffner, I was right.
Jared Loeffner, that's right.
That was our first podcast in 2010, I think.
Yeah.
Was it 2010 or 2012?
2011.
We don't know. It's just all this joy runs together.
Well, and the thing for me is that there's been so many since then. We had Aurora, we had Sandy Hook. When was Sandy Hook?
2011.
We've made so much progress.
Yeah, you know, it's really gotten better.
Gun safety.
The good news is
we've made some progress.
We've really jumped on it, like everybody other country,
right.
New Zealand, Australia. You know, we've really seen that the problem has been handled.
Even over the week, though, I mean, we're not hearing about all of them. I think they were saying today we've had 256 mass shootings, what would be considered mass shootings
this year.
And we haven't even been through that many days yet.
It's June.
But while I was at Grandma's, it's not even June, really. It's
it's kind of June.
It's definitely May.
Yeah.
But there was a shooting in Chattanooga that we haven't even really heard much about, and because only 3 or 4 people died, and then there was actually a shooting in Tulsa the night before this shooting happened in Tulsa at the hospital. So it was 2 different locations in about 24 hours in the same city.
Right. And then the guy, the Secretary of Education in Oklahoma and Tulsa came out and said, it's not the guns. He said, quote, this isn't a gun problem.
Fuck. fucking these fucking people.
There you go. He's already been me. He's been me, but now he's just full on fuck it.
But if you go down the list, like I get it, and everybody's like triggered by this conversation. But if you look at what's different in this country from any other country, they have mental illness. They have doors that are sometimes open, even though this one wasn't open.
That American human beings aren't that different from human beings around the world. Right.
Human beings are pretty much
the same. Blood, hair, bone.
Yeah.
Crazy. But we're number one. Yeah. We're number one, though. Just
American exceptionalism. Okay. Forgot about that.
Yeah.
Forgot about that.
We do have that, even though other countries are just flying by us in education and technology, healthcare, all of it.
Right.
But that's what I was saying to you the other day. It feels like we're so busy screaming we're number one,
right?
And we're not doing anything about infrastructure or. We're so behind in technology. We were blown away by that when we went to South Africa.
By the toilets. I was like, hey, this toilet.
The healthcare. I mean, all of it. And
healthcare, education.
Education. But we're still screaming we're number one. And I think other people are like, no.
These backwards arguments like, well, it's a mental health issue. Okay, so how about healthcare? How about universal healthcare?
Socialism.
Fascism. So let's go down that. So they said I made a list of stuff that are always because again. And people keep going, oh, wow, Titus is finally woke. I go, motherfucker, I've been talking about this shit since Gabby Giffords. Yeah. And not only that, but I've been studying it for 12 years now. 12 years. So every argument that the right is saying that why we need guns and why this isn't a gun issue is so full of shit. It's crazy. Once you look at the facts and you look at the statistics, you're like, you guys aren't even making sense. And so we could start slow with Ted Cruz solved it.
But could we just say, again, the only difference between our country and all these other countries that don't have these mass shootings
is guns.
Yeah, the availability and the lack of a well-regulated militia.
Let's just go over this kid. This kid was 18 years old. He bought two AR-15s, and then
and 600 rounds.
600 rounds, yeah.
And
I thought it was 1,600 and
I thought it was over.
He bought so many magazines. It was slightly shy of 1,700
rounds. Yeah.
And didn't Texas just a year ago lower the age?
Yes.
Why is lowering age of anything is wrong?
And cut, and you don't have to be trained, and you don't have to have a license.
Why? But why?
Freedom. God damn it. What country do you live in?
We're number one.
Yeah, we're number one. Freedom. God damn it. So I looked up today. I was like, someone was talking about Israel has guns and they just had rules. Well, I looked at I found it in the Israel Times. There was an article that the Israel Times would go, the reason that you cannot compare Israel to America when it comes to guns. In Israel, you are limited. You can only have 50 rounds of ammunition, period. And the only way to get more ammunition is to prove you shot the other ones with your casings or turn in the ammunition you already have.
Or buy them from the United States.
On top of that, they register your gun. They know who has what gun, when, and where. They know it. And they know it. And the thing is that people go, oh, well, the government's going to take it away. No, Israel's used to getting attacked. They actually make sure that they know who has guns so they can call you and go, dude, we need all the good guys. Come on, good guys. So okay, let's talk about the militia argument. So the militia said it's it's supposed to be a well-regulated militia. Well, first of all, the reason that the Constitution was written like that is because we didn't have a militia at that time. We actually had, with the Spanish was attacking us from the south, and then we had up north. And I'm probably going to get this wrong historically because, as Ray knows, I'm not the best at it. And then we had the British going after us. And we didn't have a standing army. So that was what that means.
Yeah, but well-regulated, not unregulated.
Right.
Well, that's what I don't get because they all mention, Constitution, blah, blah. But you're skipping part of a sentence, and that carries a lot of weight. It's a lot of
weight. Like the Bible.
You know why? Freedom! Everybody drink. Everybody drink.
I want to be really clear because some assholes that you've blocked continue to follow me just so they can intentionally try and drag me into brawls while I'm taking care of my grandma who just had major surgery, and I'm getting notifications like
cancer surgery.
Imagine you're being texted by a complete stranger in the middle of the night telling you what a twat you are and how dumb you are and how your husband, who they've also never met, is a complete ignorant asshole. And then
don't forget not funny.
You know what Twitter's like.
Don't forget not funny.
You're not funny, but also stick to comedy.
I'm not funny and stick to comedy. Wait, what? Wait,
oh, you have been
when they
reading
say that?
His posts.
Freedom!
We're number one.
Okay.
So I saw that you were tweeting and, people, and what one of these people said was that you're trying to take our guns. Can't believe Titus won. And you never said that. No. I have to say this right into camera. We don't want to take your guns. I don't think that we should take your guns. That's against the Constitution. An amendment of the Constitution. I have owned guns and shot guns my whole life. I just think that we should have some common sense laws and regulation that maybe would take a stab at,
take a shot at.
Take a stab at.
Take a stab at's better because
you'd live. Maybe.
That's most of the time.
Just saving innocent people who are out at schools and parks and malls and churches. That's all.
Movie theaters.
That's all I'm asking. We don't want to take your guns.
No, has anyone ever said that? No one's. Where did they get that from?
I don't know.
Because
it
leads to. Actually, there was a tweet I said we need sensible gun laws. You want to ban guns? No, I just said we need some gun laws to stop. Yeah. What about when the government tries to enslave us?
God, they're so afraid.
I was like, you have mental illness. Yeah. So
I loved what you said to someone on Twitter, and I just want to say this really quickly because I'm very.
Never say that.
I know, that's why I want to say it. You said that if you're one of those people that is bitching at me and worried about any of these regulations that you're proposing, then you're the one that doesn't need a fucking gun,
right?
Because people that aren't crazy and people
are like, yeah, okay, I'll do it.
Right.
Yeah, okay. You know what I'll do? Oh, so I have to take a 20-hour training course to use a weapon?
I would love to do that anyway. I haven't trained in a long time.
Wait. Do I have to? It's like martial arts. I brought up the definition of martial arts. People like, someone was calling me, you're a martial artist, man. You can hurt people. I go, yeah, but I trained for 6 years. Yeah. And the reason I don't hurt people is because I know I can really hurt people. The people with guns, an 18-year-old walks into a fucking sporting goods store.
That's also a dumb argument.
Buys 2 AR-15s. Well, the training, I go, you go through as much training to own a gun as I did to learn martial arts? Okay.
There's never been a white belt who's like murdered a bunch of people as a white belt.
No. Bruce Lee, there was some mass ass kickings. I will say Bruce Lee did some mass ass kickings. and he was heard to exclaim, whoa.
Repeatedly. Yeah. Also, you had to, when you got your black belt, do it in front of a bunch of 10 to 12-year-olds and their families and break a hand. And I mean, you went through a lot to get that black belt.
It's a 4-hour test.
Got a certificate.
It was a 4-hour test. I have 6 years of training and a 4-hour test.
And if you whatever it is you do, karate chop me, then I can still dial my phone. I can still, run away. I can still, whatever. If you liquefy me with an AR-15, there's no getting up.
Yeah, there's a funny thing is that it was a Mudaquan style, and there's a thing we did where you block, punch, get behind the guy, and then you would actually grab his neck, and when you rolled your arms,
that would be
it
hard.
Lifts his head off his
neck. Yeah, that would be a little.
And that was the moment I realized, oh shit,
this is that's only one person.
But I'm just saying, yeah, exactly. I didn't do that. Okay, all right, line up, everybody. Now, don't worry what happens to the first guy. You stay in line.
I was going to say, how do you practice that?
But what I learned was like that.
Also, that guy had to train for a really long time to be able to do that.
Yeah, But I learned when I learned that I was like, oh, I can really fuck somebody up, and so I would never do that.
That is not a challenge.
And in fact, the only thing I've ever done really is put someone in a wrist lock. The only thing it is, you learn really quickly that it doesn't have to be lethal. You just grab the wrist, crank it down, and they go fuck, and they hit their knees.
You do that.
Yeah. So and so you learn that. And then if they keep coming, they usually won't because the pain is so bad.
Usually, ow, 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 ow is
your
what you hear.
Your body goes into reset. You do. I've had it done to me where I'm like, stop, little child who's grabbing my wrist.
When I first started dating you, that was one of the things you taught me. And you did it on me and you didn't even go all the way and it really hurt. But it was one of your early, like, I'm dating.
Well, look what I can do.
It was really cute.
That's the difference between that. By the way, here's what I've learned about being the same being a child and being an older man is exactly the same.
Yeah.
When you're a kid, you're like, look at how many push-ups I can do. And then when you hit 50, you're like, look at how many push-ups I can do.
Totally. And they're just as horrible.
No.
Kind of sagging.
No, I lock my glutes and my abs. So let's go over the other thing. So doors.
Okay.
Ted Cruz said this.
Are we really going to talk about doors?
No,
I can't believe
Ted Cruz came out and said, do you know what the problem was?
Solution.
Every school should be hardened, and we need one door in and one door out.
Can I?
Brilliant.
All right, hold on. It's a brilliant idea.
That's so smart.
Go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
Me. The reason that we can't have one exit door
or an entrance, same thing,
and one door is because especially during early in the Industrial Revolution, we had factory fires and a lot of people died. And so laws and regulations were created to make buildings safer so that less people died because they realized that people needed to be able to get out of a building if there was a problem from many different exits.
Right. But in this case, if there's an emergency in the building, everybody knows where to go.
Right.
And they just can pile in and they'll all just
so then the gunman knows where they have to run out of.
Choke point.
Okay.
To the bullseye.
Yeah, exactly. Guys, this little square target, just everybody come through that.
But we had laws and regulations because especially for public buildings and workplace like OSHA and things like that, because we were trying to make people safer.
But here's the thing. If 300 people die, if 300 kids die in a school fire because there's one door, at least they weren't shot.
Look how safe they were from guns.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
That's
that
what I'm
fire
saying.
had mental health problems.
So we know Ted Cruz is a twat. Ted Cruz needs a good friend that just to tell him he's an asshole. I mean, that friend would be very busy, but he just needs a friend that goes, dude, shut the fuck up.
How about the fucking fire chief? Doesn't the fire chief just go, what are you, a fucking moron?
It's one of those things that, but it's one of those things that the right parrots and their people go, yeah, one fucking door. And they don't, it's weird to watch how the narrative changes every time you slam a dumb reason. So doors, stupid. Mental health. Let's go to mental health. So they go, hey man, mentally ill people shouldn't get guns. Good. And here's what I got. I have something for that. Can I go with this one? Then so we should actually screen everybody with a psych evaluation for guns and have mental health tests and a screening before you get a gun. Well, and then you see like them just they start to short circuit.
I just wanted to say, because I'm still on this door thing, because I can't believe that grown adults are saying
you had to
this.
look up that. I wasn't kidding.
Right.
Some shit I say from the right. You sound like a.
No. I heard it. I read it when I was sitting next to Grandma, but I thought it would go away quickly. Like everyone would be like, well, that's really dumb. That doesn't. The number of exits, rule of thumb, is according to storage occupancy. So before you have to have a second exit, you can have 28 or less people. So once you reach numbers like 501 to 1,000, then you have a minimum of 3 exits and then 4 exits. And it's all tiered according to how many people are in the building.
How many people can exit the building in case there's a problem?
And we have a congressman who was elected repeatedly saying that we need one door,
right, to kill everybody.
He's never seen the movie 300. Clearly,
me neither. What is that?
I know. That's right.
I'm like, wait, what am I missing?
So mental health. So if it's crazy people, then don't we need a screening for crazy people? And then you bring that up, and they go, well, no, then no, everyone should just be able to have a gun. As a matter of fact, if people keep saying this, they keep saying mental.
How do you do that though?
What?
Tell me that. Because
it works all over the world. They do it in Australia. They do it in New Zealand. They do it in Japan.
I agree with it. I'm just asking because sometimes it is subjective, especially like in divorces.
Well, that's true. Well, I found this out yesterday. Here's a weird thing. Florida, which is the craziest place in the world. Yeah. They have a involuntary confiscation law for violence and for mental illness. They can actually in Florida, and it works. They in Florida. Can I say in Florida again? Because they have taken people's guns away. And one dude, there was a guy, they played a court case where a guy said in court, he goes, yeah, it's probably a good idea. because he was like, I'm fucked up right now. So in Australia, there's, if you're going through a divorce, they will every year they sit down with you, and they go, hey, how's it going? What's going on? I'm going through divorce. You're going through divorce. So we're gonna, and they don't take your guns away forever. If you get cleared by a mental health professional, you're okay. The problem with that is, now we're going to get a bunch of mental health professionals that are going to be like, you write a check and then sign this.
So under 18 USC 922D, it is unlawful for any person to sell or otherwise dispose of any firearm or ammunition to any person knowing or having reasonable cause to believe that such person has been adjudicated as mentally defective or has been committed to any mental institution. So long story short, it technically is federally illegal to sell a gun to someone but how would you wouldn't know? Nobody knows that.
I think we have examples in other parts of the world who have figured it out.
That's what I'm asking.
Right. Well, Israel. So back to Israel. Israel figured it out. Israel regulates guns so intensely, and pretty much everyone in Israel has a gun, but they regulate the shit out of it.
Do they have universal health care? I bet.
Yeah, they do.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, they do. Socialism.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do.
We're number one.
It's mental health. Okay, so we need health care, right?
Freedom.
Freedom. Drink. So the mental health thing. So the mental health thing is blown up. Yes, we all agree. If you're crazy, you shouldn't have a gun. Don't you guys? So we should limit how many people get guns. And then again, their argument just crushes in on itself. Let's talk about Chicago. Like, that's give you. Yeah, fuck.
Oh, they always point to Chicago.
You keep talking about
so that is exhausting. You guys need more material. This is
it's like the hackiest dick joke comic in the world.
They're not even the worst.
28th.
Right.
St. Louis, Missouri. Missouri's actually number one.
It's fucking red counties, red states that have the worst.
It goes Reggie, Tupac, and Biggie. It goes Missouri, Maryland, Baltimore. Baltimore's a bad place. And
I've been there. It's pretty bad.
Birmingham. Alabama, yep. and then it's Tennessee. It's all red states.
Yeah,
the top 10 except for Baltimore are all red states. Top 30 really, but Chicago's 28th. Chicago's 28th in gun violence per capita. And the funny thing is, they keep bringing up Chicago, and you just want to go, guys, how come you're not talking about Missouri or Birmingham or all these states where there's fucking zero gun laws? Zero.
Australia.
Go ahead. Chicago. The reason Chicago, by the way, just so you guys know, the reason Chicago and some of these cities have so many guns is because on the border of Chicago is another state called Indiana, and Indiana has almost zero gun laws. You can actually go to Indiana, load a trunk. You can buy as many guns as you want, load them up in a trunk, and drive them into Chicago. They actually had one gun store that had 805 or 850 something guns in the last 3 months that had been shipped into Chicago, that had been bought, and they found them in Chicago.
That same exact thing is happening in Mexico, where they have stricter gun laws.
Yes.
They can only
Mexico has, weirdly enough,
whatever. But they smuggle them in from the United States. They go and buy them. Like cartel will come here and just go shopping.
Yep.
And then they go back to Mexico and
Did you know that Mexico, you want to hear the most fucked up thing? Mexico has sued the United States because we have so many guns from the U.S. going into Mexico. Mexico.
A place considered in many instances a third world country.
So people are running. They're like, hey, freedom. People are running from our guns in Mexico.
On March 21st of this year, so 2 months ago, the governor of Indiana signed a bill into law that eliminated a license requirement to carry a handgun in Indiana, despite opposition from his appointed head of state police.
How did we get the laws passed for cars and seatbelts and all these things? How did we manage to get that done and through the freedom fighters?
Because you weren't guaranteed a car in the Constitution.
Yeah, it's not. Hey, driving isn't a right, asshole. Freedom. We're number one. Drink. So here's the thing. So what we need is, and you want to freak them out. They go, yeah, what is Chicago? I said, okay, let's stop the guns into Chicago. Let's stop the guns into Baltimore. Let's stop the guns. You know what we need? A federal standard. We need a countrywide federal standard. We have it for food. We have it for water. Countrywide federal standard. And you bring it up again and they just fucking collapse it. Fuck you, man. States' rights, freedom. We're number one. So now poor people. Yeah, yuckum, no one brings up the ghettos and poor people. I go, again, federal standard. Again, so if you want all these gangs to not have guns, why don't we have gun laws? Well, because criminals don't pay attention to gun laws. Right. Because they're criminals. And then we arrest them because they have guns and they go to jail. And then they're off the street and so is the gun. What are you fucking talking about?
Here's another, this is weird. The governor of Indiana, Governor Holcomb, that guy who took away a requirement for a license for a firearm carry, also just opposed a bill. He vetoed a bill that would have banned transgender girls from playing girls' school sports.
Look at how many transgender girls this is. It's like 4.
Well, he actually said it's not even really a problem there, but I'm just saying it's
just a dog whistle.
That's point. But it's wait,
banned,
you're confusing me
well,
now.
But here's what I've noticed. People, I got some guy just called me because libtards are going to libtard, and I
again with the libtard.
You guys need some new material. Stop.
Exhausting.
But so I'm a thinking person. I actually go out of my way. Look what I do for a living. I try to find what's the fact, so I have to write a joke based on it. The reason I'm a liberal is because I believe in the Constitution. I believe we are all created equal. We all should have rights. You can't take people's rights away. We should all be able to vote very easily because that's what our country was built on. If you want to have a gun, fine, but you should have to earn it. You should be well regulated. I believe in our Constitution far more than these fuckers that are screaming patriot and then defacing the American flag with a picture of fat orange. Like you guys don't even understand what the flag code means. Why are you wearing a shirt where you put armpit sweat on the flag, you fuck? Yep. So I'm really mad because what they've done is they've co-opted America and they don't follow it. They don't follow the Constitution. They don't follow what it stands for.
No, and whenever Trump did violate the Constitution, they're just like, oh, he's just being him. He's, it's like that none of the other parts of the Constitution are as important at all. None of it. And except for guns.
That's a cult, though. Yeah.
Even my dad, I've said in the past, my dad is a retired Marine officer. He's the one that started teaching me to shoot when I was little. He carries, and he has been
he carries in his church.
Common sense gun laws. And then all of a sudden I said something to him about after the shooting, and I was at grandma's and he said, well, if you make laws, it's just gonna be for the law-abiding citizens, make it harder for the law-abiding citizens. And I was like, what? I said, so what you're saying is we should do nothing? We should just continue to allow innocent children to die and do nothing about that? And then you could hear him like,
e-brake.
And what I thought that was is because my dad is not dumb, and he has said to me before, we need something. My stepfather too, retired colonel from the Army. We need some common sense gun legislation. I think it's my dad in a vacuum in Lafayette, Georgia, hearing Fox. Yeah. And so those sound bites like that one that they say all the time, or about cars, it just starts coming out of people's mouths instead of them thinking about it.
But they're the ones that call us sheep. They're the ones that say we're sheep.
I know. The Uvalde shooter got his gun legally.
Yeah.
He's an 18-year-old kid.
The guy in Tulsa got his gun legally. The guy in Buffalo got his gun legally. They got all these shooters.
How do you feel about Adam this being a bother?
Adam Lanza's mother had that gun legally. She had locked it up.
Has a child that goes to school.
I asked about this on day one.
I am torn between staying and like we got smart people here. We're going to eventually figure this out. No. Versus
Australia looks good.
We're fucked. Exactly.
Australia looks good.
Who has good gun laws and universal health care and actually gives a shit about their citizens and isn't swamped by lobbyists and corruption and gridlock.
Doesn't have Citizens United.
And doesn't have
What do you say to him? Do you have this conversation with him about if there is a shooting?
The good news is I've been thinking about this too. So if he's willing to go, maybe we can all get
Okay. Scotland.
Scotland. I looked up Scotland's gun law. Their suicides is really low.
Have you had, or is it something?
It's peripheral. Like after the shooting, after the Uvalde shooting, there was police presence at his school the next day.
Wow, that's insane.
So I know that the school that he goes to, I feel safe about it. And also the middle school that he's going to go to, I feel safe about it. But it is scary. It's scary to the point where I'm like, I'm seriously considering, well, I don't know, maybe not for him, but for the next generation, all the other little Highlanders, the next people.
You're going to have a lot of little Highlanders?
Well, if he will. I'm saying the next generation of the
He's not
offspring.
Like, what's happening? Somebody's been busy.
Something else used to happen way before that.
Okay. Oh, right. Chicken or egg?
But like my daughter, there was a shooting out in front of her school, and they ran back inside, and her friend Connor got shot through the ankle. He didn't die, but he was shot.
This was not a school shooting, though. This was a drive-by.
This was it was out.
Shooting,
it was
at
gangs,
the Jack in the Box.
Gangs out in front of the school across the street at the Starbucks. Yeah. But still, it's still part
the
of it.
Gangs at the Starbucks.
Yeah, they get Starbucks gang because it's LA. It's California gangs. Hey man, I need a latte. So they could have been white guys. Gosh, Conley, can I get me a frappuccino? And are you strapped? So, just not to be racist. Let's cover everybody.
Thank you.
I want a home defense. I need it for home defense. I need to defend myself.
I'd like to say something really quickly. Hold home defense thought, because we need it right now. This episode is brought to you by Feels.
Oh.
Feels is a premium
I'm on some
CBD.
now. That's why I'm keeping my lid on right now.
I've thought about seeing if Grandma will try Feels.
I think she should. That's a good idea.
Because she's 88, and so I have to explain to her, no. It's not that. It's CBD. It's just gonna calm her down, maybe help her sleep a little bit more. Helps with anxiety. And
it's not synthetic, and it's not gonna hurt you. It's not. There's no side effects to
pain.
It. Yeah, it's a natural. It's natural oil, and it's not. There's no side effects. You don't have to look at it. Doesn't. You have to read like at the back of the bottle. You were reading some side effect to me the other day about something you had to take. And we decided not to.
Yes.
And you go. The doctor said you should take this. It'll help you. And you read the side effects, and I was like, well, you already have that. The side effects are what the thing is.
Right.
What are you taking it for?
That's what's great about CBD. If you've never used it before or you have any questions about it, they have a CBD hotline. It's free if you want to call it and just ask questions about it. You basically just put a few drops under your tongue. And then not long after that, you just you have to check in and realize that I am feeling less anxiety and stress. Or for me, I'm getting sleepy, which is the most amazing thing for me. It happened last night. I don't sleep a lot. And for me to start to feel drowsy is amazing.
Right.
So, and it's after I put a couple drops under my tongue, I just start to notice that I'm relaxed and I go to sleep. I sleep more soundly. I love it too.
I wake up better. I wake up because I've slept deeper. I wake up better.
No hangover, no addiction, none of the crappy stuff. You just get the good stuff. They have a membership that you can join. It'll get delivered to your house every month, so you don't have anxiety about leaving your house. You can become a member through this offer right now and get 50% off of your first order. Go to feals.com/Titus. That's feals.com/Titus to become a member, and you get 50% automatically taken off your first order and free shipping. Feals.com/Titus. I highly recommend too trying the mints, because that's what I kept in my purse when we were traveling.
Yeah.
And I would just pop a mint, and it helped me with travel. For someone that has to travel every week, I have massive travel anxiety.
Stress like I've never seen anyone take on stress.
I hate flying, and I have to do it every week. So feals.com/Titus, you get 50% off your first order with free shipping.
Home defense. So a lot of statistics, a lot of studies done on home defense. A lot of people say, Anita, you come into my house, I'm taking you out. What they found is over the years that if you have a gun in your house, you're 4 times more likely to shoot yourself or a family member. Or one of your kids is going to find it. And we hear those stories all the time.
If it's there, it's going to be used.
Now, a couple of full disclosure stories. There was a guy that was going to marry my aunt years ago, Ray, and Ray was hardcore, man. He had a gun safe.
Dodged that bullet.
He had 4 or 5. Yeah, he dodged that bullet, didn't he? He had long guns, and he had numerous handguns and a knife collection, and none of it was in his house. Not a fucking bit of it. It was all in his garage in a giant gun safe. He kept a lockbox in his truck. He did air conditioning, kept a lockbox in his truck. One night he came home, and I thought about this story a lot. Now he came home, and there was 2 guys in his house. He looked over the back fence, and he was crazy about turning lights off. And there was a guy, and his light in his bedroom was on after his day of work. And here's where I think he could have done something different. They were ransacking his house, and these criminals would not have died either. He could have just gone to his truck. He wasn't in the house. They weren't affecting me. He could have just called the cops, parked his truck at the end of the driveway and just stayed there.
Waited,
and just waited. But he goes, I got 2 guys in my house. Come get me. The cops would have been there. LA cops would have been there like that. Instead, what he did was he didn't call the cops. He went to his truck. He opened his lockbox, his gun, got out his Glock, went down there. And now
he's doing Texas justice.
Well, 2 things I want to say about Ray. Ray went. He was at a range twice a month, and he went and he studied. He paid for a course, a year course once a month up in the hills up out of LA with a guy who taught SWAT teams.
Yeah.
That's what he did. So he went he trained 3 times a month, all the time, constantly. And he locked all his guns up. Takes his lockbox, goes in. His dog is freaking out, and his bedroom door is closed. And he went in at low ready, and he's describing what he did. And he kicked the door up, and he told the guys to freeze. This guy, there was a bathroom right here. This guy, I've told this story before. One guy ran at him full speed. Because he trained all the time, he hit 5 out of 7. He shot 7 shots, and he hit this guy. He hit this guy 4 times.
All dead center mass.
Yeah, he took him out. Guy went like this, went boom, died on the carpet. This guy, once a gunshot shot, this guy jumped out of the bathroom at him, and Ray he put 5 in this guy, 2 in this guy. No, sorry, 3, 2, and then 2 missed. And this guy was like, all right, you got me. Now he shot the other guy in the spine, and the guy could move. So the guy crawled. And so here's what the training did for Ray. Number 1, the training got him, so he took these 2 guys out. And that's when these fuckers say, no training and no permit. Are you out of your fucking mind? You'd have got killed.
Well, that too. Also, if you're so big on the good guy with a gun
then be good at it.
Be really good at it.
Yeah, be good.
Yeah.
So what happens is the guy, and because of his training, instead of Ray panicking, because he was trained, once the guy said, you got me, I'm done. I'm not armed. You got me. Guy started crawling, and Ray's like, you stop moving. Well, he went to high ready, and he goes, stop moving. You got me. And Ray never shot him again. But the guy crawled out, went through the hole in the door they'd kicked out of his French doors. He got up, and he ran through the backyard, jumped the fence, ran a quarter mile down the road, and then the gunshots got to him, and he fell, and they caught him. The guy ended up going up for prison for 25 years. And the other guy dead. So... But that all could have been avoided, and the only thing that would have happened was property damage, or if he'd have just called the cops.
Yeah,
if he'd just called the fucking cops.
He didn't have to go in.
Those guys weren't armed. There's a difference between an armed robbery and a robbery. So, and criminals know that. No criminal wants to go break into your house with a weapon. Yeah. Because if that happens, although there's a new thing in LA right now where people are following people in expensive cars home and doing home invasions.
That is a thing now.
That is a thing now.
So there's 3 countries that will break up as you're doing that. The first one is Australia, the Port Arthur, Tasmania
35 people
shooting. Yep. One guy killed 20 people with the first 29 shots from a semi-automatic rifle. Final tally was 35 dead and 18 injured. They had lost 105 lives to gun massacres in the preceding decade, so they were done. So the new prime minister comes in. It took them 12 days to come up with new legislation that was bipartisan. They reformed all 8 states and territories.
Yep.
They banned semi-automatic long guns. All gun owners were and are required to prove a genuine reason to possess a firearm.
Like if you own a farm or something, you need to shoot coyotes or something like that.
Rural occupation or membership in a club that competes in shooting.
Right.
Self-defense remains an unacceptable reason. Owners were also required to register every gun with the police. In the 26 years following the Port Arthur shooting, and by the way, they bought back all the guns.
600,000
still
guns.
Continue to.
600,000 guns got bought back, so people made money.
Well over 1 million guns were handed in for destruction.
Wow.
And they gave them money for it.
Do you know about the Aussies? They're very pragmatic people. They're like, all right, I don't like this.
Right. Exactly. I think that was that British?
That was a little.
All right.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Go ahead.
It's a knife. I gotta go back to crack it up. I need to get it. Hold on. That's a knife. I'm turning in my gun. Yeah.
all states now offer permanent amnesty to gun owners, and in recent years there has been an upsurge in collections even now.
Because people realize that they're safe. That's the thing, is that like I have walked the earth for as long as I've been alive, not owning a weapon, not carrying a weapon, and not having a weapon with me. And guess what happened?
It says all shooters and non-shooters alike in the nation often speak with pride about how they came together to remove rapid-fire weapons, repeating the former prime minister's mantra at the time, "I don't want Australia to go down the American path."
Wow, that was on T-shirts in Australia. Holy shit!
The result was in the decade before they had gun reform, there were 13 mass shootings. During the 22 years following, there were zero. So, are you saying to me right now that gun laws work? Yes.
And so it's not mental health, it's not doors, it's guns.
That's what I'm saying. Well, I'm just saying that Australia did this.
Empirical evidence worldwide.
26-year record. And then in 2018, a farmer shot and killed his family and himself. But that's it. I can tell you about
25 times a day in this country.
Yes.
Yeah, and Thanksgiving really.
So that's
Thanksgiving more.
So that worked in Australia.
Family shooting day.
Go ahead.
So good guy with a gun. Let's talk about that.
Okay.
I've done extensive research about this because even Ted Cruz, by the way, so here's how fucking craven the NRA is, and Ted Cruz, and any politician that spoke. Did you see all those? So many people pulled out of the NRA convention because they said they can't do it.
Can we talk about the fact that, speaking of self-protection,
right?
They banned guns.
Yes.
At the NRA convention.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, you could when Trump was there. Yes, you could carry your gun into the hallway, but when Trump appeared, everybody got their guns banned.
Okay.
So you couldn't take a gun in. So they're full of shit. I think we can just basically say
that's also mental health.
So
he is mental. Okay.
So here, yeah, exactly. Trump definitely couldn't have a gun. They're like, no. Yeah. By the way, they only banned it so Trump didn't carry one in.
So he didn't find one.
So let's talk about the good guy with the gun. So the good guy with the gun is is such an anomaly. And every time I ask for examples, and I ask for examples all the time, all right, give me an example. And so this week, by the way, I got 4 or 5 examples. A guy walked into her house. Her husband was there. The guy wasn't armed. They said, get out of his house. Husband shot a gun, not at him. Listen, fucker, if I have a gun in my house and you come into my house, I'm not going to ask you questions. I'm shooting you. And so she shot a warning shot. He shot a warning shot. Then she finally shot the guy. That happened. I think there was someone sent me in all this time. By the way, this has been 12 years since Gabby, and all this time I've gotten 4. There was a study done by Lott and a guy named Kleck years ago, and they said they estimate between, you ready? Here's the number. They estimate between 25,000 and 3 million defensive gun units everywhere. Is that a real good study if that's the variable? 25,000 to 3 million? Is that
could be every study. It's between 1 and
you know what? Say
infinity.
How many breaths have I had in my life, man? 25,000 to 3 million, somewhere around there. So it's bullshit. So all that study got taken down by every statistical scientist on the planet, got destroyed. What the Gabby Giffords study did, because here's what people don't quite get about me. Hey guys, if this worked, if everybody having a gun saved lives, we would have the safest nation on the planet.
Yeah, this would be a utopia.
We would never have a dead person. They'd be like, what happened? Well, we're full of guns. No one dies anymore. It doesn't even saying it sounds stupid. So Gabby Giffords found that less than 1% of people shootings are stopped by a good guy with a gun. And people point to they go, oh yeah, what about that one in Texas at that church? Well, what happened was that guy went in, put over 400 rounds into the church, killed 26 people. One of the moms who died was over her kids, and one of the kids was so small the guy couldn't see him, and the kid survived, but the kid was shot 4 times. Every single one of those people in that church fucking died. The good guy with the gun, heard the shooting and waited outside until it was over. And then when the guy got in the car and left, he followed him and then shot at him. And then the guy crashed and the guy shot himself. So that's not a good guy with a gun. If you didn't stop shit, you're not a good guy with a gun. Also,
now he works for the Uvalde Police Department.
Yeah, now he's the head of the Uvalde Police Department. So good transfer. That was a fucking nice, because I was going to talk about that. If the good guy with a gun thing was true, we had a guard in Buffalo guard in Buffalo. He was an ex-police officer, and he was only 52. He was younger than me. And this kid pulled a gun, kid, because, younger than me. He pulled a gun, and he shot, and he was killed. Do you know why he was killed? Because the guy had body armor. Why the fuck if you're just a normal citizen, do you need body armor? What do you need? That's,
but
by the
again,
way, that should be the first
good
mental.
Guy with a gun, fine. If that's what you want, fine. We just want these common sense gun laws that maybe will help our good guys with guns not have to put their lives at risk.
But so the most training ever was done by the Uvalde Police Department.
I'm just saying it's a reactive solution. It's not a proactive solution.
Right,
Instead of stopping the guy getting the gun that's killing all the people in the church, we're going, we need to arm everyone else and hope that somebody that's good that has a gun is wandering by.
Right. How about we do this? What if we just made sure that everybody had to work really hard to get a gun? And then if you got one, it would be a big thing. Because that's what other people forget too. Let me finish. Uvalde, they were highly trained. SWAT. They were badasses, supposedly. They waited for the Border Patrol Special Ops team to come in.
Right.
They stood there for like 72 minutes. While they heard outside the classroom, while they heard children getting shot. And that fucking dude the guy that was head of it, the guy that called it, was saying, do this. Excuse my language, he got bumped up to on the city council.
City council, yeah.
Unbelievable. All right, go ahead.
Holy shit.
You have something?
Wow. It's hard to segue today into
we're talking about
this episode brought to you because the world feels really scary and you might want to have some alternative source of cooking and the like.
If you're so stressed you can't bring yourself to cook, what would you do?
No, that's not what I was going to say at all. I'm saying you might want to get a solo stove because the world feels a little cray. You're going to be able to enjoy it on July 4th weekend outside.
Oh, we're using ours, yeah.
Yep. When you're outside hanging out with your family, making s'mores, whatever you want to do, not smelling like smoke because this thing is amazing. But also, just in case of Armageddon, you might need an alternative source of cooking.
Used it, what I'm stunned about with the solo stove is that whatever they did to design it, it's so cool that people aren't just giving you a canister to put wood in and burn it. The way it's designed and the way the air flows around it, the smoke is so low, and then the ashes, it burns really completely. It's pretty cool. It's
really crazy. So I'm from the South, which means I grew up around a bonfire every weekend.
And guns.
And guns. And lots of alcohol by that fire. But I love a bonfire. I love s'mores, hot dogs on a bonfire. I love having drinks around a fire. I mean, we do that with ours, with our friends when they come over. And it's July 4th, which is always one of our favorite weekends to do that. So you put wood in this, and because of the technology, it burns.
Way they designed the airflow thing, it's crazy. The way they designed it, it's almost like two things, and in the way the holes are, it's like, basically if Apple built a fire pit.
Exactly. It burns more efficiently and it regulates airflow, so you're not having to sit and smoke like you always had to do at the bonfire.
Right. And then when the way to shift, you'd be like, by the way.
And then the next day you're closed and stuff. This doesn't have that. You don't have to dodge fumes and smoke and stuff like that. Super easy to light. You just use a little bit of starter. And also, they're so confident that you're going to love it that you have a lifetime warranty and a 30-day free return policy. That's how confident they are. And you guys know that we love this. So right now, you can get huge discounts on all fire pits. They have different ones. You have to just go to their website, check it out. During Solo Stove's 4th of July sale, use promo code Titus at solostove.com for an extra $10 off of those deals that they have. That's solostove.com, promo code Titus for $10 off on top of their incredible 4th of July sale discounts. Hurry, 4th of July sale ends July 10th.
Ted Cruz said the best stove has one hole. Just look at that face.
You're an idiot. That's all I have to say. So there are certain things that you want to say so that people know how to get there.
True.
By want, I mean required.
Yeah, got it.
You Nimrod.
Yeah, maybe I should stop talking so much.
Every once in a while.
I like the product.
Thanks for your input.
So good guy. It doesn't work. It's less than 1% actually stops a shooting. Let's talk about the other one. Yeah, but what about when the government takes us over? Okay, let's talk about that. First of all, why do you want to live in a country that you're constantly worried about the government taking you over? Why would you fucking live here? Go find a place where Bahamas. They're great. Yep. They ain't taking you over. If you have
so much mistrust of your own government, leave.
Well, the Israeli thing I read, they were saying that the one thing the Israelis do is they trust their government to protect them. They actually do. And if you look back at history between the Mossad and they're right. Their military is there to fight. Our military is there. Do you actually think our military goes in to help other countries? Do you think they wouldn't protect America? Like what? And okay, let's say by some craziness that some psycho, we elect some psycho like we almost did a second time, and that guy says we're going to impose martial law and we're going to take everybody's guns. First of all, you have guns, and looking at some of the pictures online, you don't have one gun. You have lots of guns. I think our government trying to take our thing, but let's say that you still think you're going to beat the government. The government has drones and planes and bombs and drones and planes and bombs, and they have a lot of them, and tanks and MRAPs and Humvees and howitzers. And everybody's got a rifle that outdoes yours because it's their. I don't understand the thinking. It's almost like a bunch of people all they're doing is looking for an excuse to keep their penis extension. That's what I think. Like there is something about when we talk about cars. You were talking about car rules. When you go, all right, we're going to put seatbelts on, and I remember that too, man. I was a little kid, but I remember people flipping out about seatbelts. I want to get thrown clear. Do you really? You want in the car? You want to get thrown clear? You don't want to be protected by the metal. You want to be thrown clear of the metal so the metal can roll over you. Okay, but there was all these excuses. And
but in that case, they just don't have to click it. Okay, right. So you still have to participate in the action of putting the seatbelt on. Yeah. If you're that crazy about your own freedoms, you can just take the ticket. You don't have
take the ticket. But if you're not about guns, you're going to get killed. So there was every time, and it's so funny they keep talking about freedoms. You survived a 6-flip car crash because you were wearing a seatbelt. You survived it.
I just feel like all of this, like you're getting really bogged down in this stuff. I just think that it's really basic. I don't think you have a penis extension because you have a gun. Maybe you like shooting. It's fun. But
there's guys the guys that carry me into Applebee's.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. We just need some common sense reform because what is not working.
But I get it. Your argument is totally right. Your calm, thoughtful argument, guys, we just want to stop the killing. Doesn't work. They start coming up with every single one of these.
I don't understand how they can't just go, you feel that way. We don't want you to take our guns. By this, I mean Congress. We don't want you to take our guns, and then Democrats are like, well, we don't want any more dead kids. And then they're like, okay, well, let's sit down and see what we can agree on and see let's meet somewhere. And we have grown adults.
Hi, I'm the NRA. Here's the thing. I have for you, Congressman, I have $12 million.
Right. 13 for Mitt.
Yeah, I was gonna round it. I was gonna 13.6.
Surprised that he was
Mitt Romney
there.
took 13. Mitt Romney's worth $450 million. He took $13.6 million from the NRA, and the list is long, and the money's a lot. In fact, one of the lowest guys only got $800,000. Do you know how much money $800,000 is?
Yeah.
So, but you vote for this way. You don't let them do any gun legislation.
Yeah, but there's little kids
But listen. We gotta sell these guns. We got guns. We gotta sell them.
Yeah. So
no other country wants to buy them.
Good guy with a gun, one door. Here's some things you can say. And if you say these things, we're going to give you $1 million. By the way, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Mitt Romney, by the way, who's way up there, we're going to give you $12 million. So just say it like here. Say this. It's a good guy with a gun. You got to do, poor people are bad. Oh, Chicago, keep bringing up Chicago. Keep bringing up Chicago. Government's going to take us over. Got to protect ourselves.
Yeah, but Mr. NRA, it keeps happening. Like people keep dying, a lot of them, all back to back. And so
just do it for your state. Just Utah. Just states' rights. Just do states' rights and just keep talking about Utah.
There is a consistent stepping over of common sense.
Right. let's just call it stepping over dead children.
Keeping an office, keeping money, keeping power, keeping prestige. Right. It's a constant stepping over. Mm-hmm. It has to be a constant choice, because as you were saying that to me as the NRA, and I'm thinking I'm the person in Congress, I have to keep saying, yeah, but this just, and then I have to keep saying, okay.
14 million.
Okay. It's like, it's sick.
Right. So the people that accept the craven money from the NRA are the worst people.
Speaking and we've of being sick, you don't want to be sick, and you need Athletic Greens. Hey. Yay!
Nice.
It's so hard to segue when he's on guns, man.
Hey, by the way, I just
Athletic Greens is one of my favorite products. All of the stuff that we do advertise, we do use obsessively. Athletic Greens, I packed my travel packs that I got with my Titus promo code and took those to grandma's and had it every morning.
Did you give it to grandma?
No, I wasn't sharing that.
That's how I kind of feel. Like, even in our house, like, she's hid it. Like, I had to call her on the road and go, where's the Athletic Green can?
Grandma, I'm kidding. I would give it to her, but I just finally won. Finally, after 15 years, she loves my natural peanut butter. Oh. Loves it. Instead of eating Jif with sugar and hydrogenated oil, she has argued with me for years, and she stores it for me. I buy it. It sits there until I get back. She loves it. Whole jar. I bought the day I got there, gone by the end. So I'll accept that. We'll get into Athletic Greens later.
Okay, next is Athletic Greens.
Grandma.
I love it.
I started taking it because of my gut health, digestive issues and stuff like that, and just overall energy and well-being.
Yep.
What do you notice?
So I have that system that I react hard to, what's it? Green stuff? Wheatgrass. I have like a physical reaction to it in a good way. I mean, it makes me, but it kind of gets me like, whoa. It's not as intense, but I have the same thing happen with Athletic Greens, where I just feel a sense of wellness. I feel better. It takes about 30 minutes after I drink it. And the thing is that even if with everything that's in it, let's just say I'm just taking multivitamins, it tastes good.
You can it's like a tropical.
You don't have to get, like, I remember when you and I would get some of the other brands years ago, and we'd and just try to pound it like a shot of gasoline. And Athletic Greens is awesome. I love it.
I do it either in the morning first thing, or I do it before my workout, because I do notice energy, and it's just an overall sense of well-being. It's really weird, especially if you've had some drinks or you didn't sleep, you're jet lagged and stuff. After you have it, you really notice. When I was there and I was jet lagged, I took it and instantly I was just like, okay. Yeah. I felt like normal again. So it's got 75 high quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source, superfoods that you're not going to be able to eat all in one day on your own. Probiotics, which you definitely need, and adaptogens. It's non-GMO, dairy-free, all that stuff, keto, paleo, all that, vegan. Go on their website and read what's in it. It's amazing, and they're just helping you get all the stuff that you need that you can't possibly source and eat by yourself in one day. So right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system, which we're going to need. There's now monkeypox going around.
And we're going to Scotland. We have travel.
Convenient daily nutrition. Yeah, we're taking this with us.
Yep.
We are signed up. We have this
membership. On the road.
We have it set to deliver to us.
But we also have, one of our suitcases has a little pocket in it, and we call it the pantry, where we put all liquid IVs in there, Athletic Greens is in there, Truff is in there, and we just take it on the road with us. And man, nothing. All that
Starbucks
travel,
via we've got all
the different crappy hotel rooms you stay in. Athletic Green, it just keeps my immune system up, so I can beat it.
So to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. The vitamin D, it's a dropper. You drop it into this green powder, a little bit of water, shake it up. That's all you have to do. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/Titus. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/Titus to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. I will kill you.
I will stab you.
I will.
We're gonna have a talk about it. We're gonna have a talk about it later.
I will kill you while you try and talk.
Civil War is next. I keep talking about Civil War. That's been happening a lot lately. I don't understand what this is. So our country is by the way, we can pretty much nail down when our country started to come apart. I can nail it down. I can pretty much nail it down. It started happening with Mitch McConnell and Obama when they stopped healthcare and stuff, and then Trump came in, and there's been this thing, and it was because the black guy got elected. I don't quite understand. That's where it seemed to go. Stop. I'm doing the show now. This is what people do. So
bring it home.
Stop it. I'm not bringing it home.
I'll kill you.
So Civil War. People keep talking about there's going to be a Civil War. They were interviewing some guy. It wasn't Jordan Klepper. It was a guy like that does that in interviews. And he's going, guys, I guess what's going to have to happen is Civil War then. And I always think, what do you think's going to happen?
Because it worked so well for you the last time.
Yeah, but what's going to happen though? Like, so you're going to fight your fellow Americans with guns for why? Now, I get why Civil War happened way back then. There was a group of people that were being oppressed that were treated like cattle, and people in the North were like, okay, that's bullshit, and we shouldn't do that. And it was an economic fight. It really was, because the South had free labor. Mm-hmm. Like, as I said in the thing, it's not really free.
It wasn't fought over slavery. It was fought over states' rights.
Yeah, right. Uh-huh. Okay. All right.
Okay.
So
the states' rights
even
for free labor.
Right, rights for slavery.
Everyone
the states'
says
rights
that,
for slavery, yeah.
But please just go online and read the secession papers for a lot of those states. It's really uncomfortable.
Right. And regarding guns, go if everyone keeps seeing the Federalist Papers, go read the Federalist Papers, what they wrote about the Second Amendment. You're going to be like, oh, I'm an idiot. I should not bring that up ever again, because it doesn't back my argument at all. So I get it was a big giant thing. It was like slavery had been there for a couple hundred years already. You had people in the North that wanted to let everybody be free. You had landowners that were just fucking going to lose, millions and millions of dollars back then. Mm-hmm. I get there was a war fought over that. I don't get that these people are talking about Civil War because what? Because of Tucker Carlson? Because some like 3 trans kids countrywide want to play softball. What are you bitching about?
They just want a
rematch.
But what are you fucking?
That's what I'm saying.
It's a rematch.
Look, when
it's like Rocky 2 with morons.
Exactly. Look, when I was in high school, there was like a list apparently that the faculty had for like all the, I don't know, the fighters, the tough bad kids,
the tough kids, right?
The tough kids, whatever. And I was number 1.
Right.
I had no idea.
Really?
No, don't.
I didn't know about the list or anything. But these other like idiots were coming up to me and picking a fight with me. Wanted to pick a fight because they were lower on the list and there was like a badge for whatever.
Who made what?
I don't know.
So you had like what grade was this?
This is high school. This is like 11th grade.
11th grade fight club. The number one rule of 11th grade fight club is don't give the list to the fucking faculty. Right. You assholes. So someone got the list out and put the list out.
Yeah, that's. And I was like, because these other
teachers were betting. Teachers were taking bets. Who's on there? He got bumped up. Someone someone beat Hylinder. Someone took out Hylinder. No.
Clear as day. This guy came up to him and he's like, he wanted to pick a fight, and I was like, "Who are you? I don't even know who you are. What?" He just wanted to fight me so he could be higher on the list, and that's probably. It sounds like what the South, why they're always angry at the libtards, angry at the Democrats, Democrats.
It's okay. Let's say they have it. Let's again. I love doing this when dumb fuckers talk. All right, let's take your idea to the final conclusion. So you start a civil war. All you guys have guns, and here's what they don't quite understand. Many, many, many liberals and Democrats have guns. But by the way, the government will also, say what you will, the government, people don't quite understand that America is a giant corporation. And if you're going to fuck it up, you think they're going to bring the military, even if they're kind of on your side, they're going to shut you the fuck down, because if you stop working and you start a civil war, there's no tax money coming in. And when no tax money come in, Ted Cruz, Mitt Romney, none of these fuckers get paid. So if you actually believe you're going to shut the country down, what do you think is going to happen? You're going to have a civil war, for over a long weekend? Then you're going to go back to Olive Garden on the next Monday and talk about the civil war you did? What do you think is going to happen? You think you're going to go back to the mall on the next Monday? Yeah, that was a civil war. It was fucking wild, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We shot a bunch of people. They shot a bunch of us. We're moving on now.
They think it's just going to be like one of those reenactments?
Yeah,
fun.
I don't think it's what I'm saying. I don't think that those people think through anymore. I think that they just hear it, like even my dad, and then repeat it it's like, oh, okay, you know, because people are busy and we're living our life. Oh, shit, civil war if we have to. Yeah, we will. Nobody's, you know, it's like, I don't think anybody's sitting and having an informed, reasonable conversation like this with their buddy. Dead. Yeah, it's everybody's too busy. They're on Twitter.
Yeah, when people start doing this to people that bring this shit up, go, okay, just track that for me. How does that end? How does civil war that you say needs to happen in America end? You take over? You dumb motherfuckers who can't run up a flight of stairs? You guys are going to take over. Okay. But
also, what are you willing to do that? Are you willing to have McDonald's closed down and Starbucks
or have a fight for the McDonald's?
No food coming in, and I mean, what do you think a war like that would look like? You're not going to be able to get your latte at the Starbucks.
Whoa. Taco Bell can't stay open late if they're doing operations in the middle of the night.
And depending on where the fighting's happening, your social media might be down. Then you're really screwed.
Yeah, if your internet's going to suck.
If Truth goes down,
Netflix,
I mean, it's over. All you have to do is shut down Truth.
Done.
War over. We won.
Disney Plus, no more Star Wars.
Netflix, no more.
But that's what. So do you remember when? People keep bringing this up about Biden and they keep going, oh man, economy's fucked. I'm a moderate, but I can't afford stuff like I used to. And I'm like, well, do you remember what was going on 2 years ago? Like we had 4,000 people a day dying. We were locked in our
Nobody
homes.
Remembers.
We had no jobs. We had to get money from the government to make it. On top of that, we had a guy who was so stupid, he gave our bases to Russia. He actually screwed the Kurds who we backed up, who we actually said we would help defend.
I don't think that was an accident.
No, of course not. No, Russia got 3 of our bases. They took 3 of them, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, it just goes on where we were 2 years ago. And they're like, yeah, man, gas is expensive. Well, you know why gas wasn't expensive 2 years ago? It was because they couldn't produce any because we weren't driving anywhere. So it went negative. So we
couldn't find
we have such short memories.
Meat.
No meat. There was no meat. Toilet paper. People were brawling.
We were going to the grocery store at different times and terrified. Gloves, masks, glasses, walking in, freaked out. And one time I got down on my knees where all the chicken was and stuff, and there was a pack of chicken breasts underneath there. And I was like, yes! And you and I, we won something. And that was what the world was like. Do you remember?
So Ray would stay up. You guys don't even know this. 2 years ago, this is how fucked up things were now.
I think we have
the stores were empty. Ray would stay up because after midnight or 1, 2 in the morning, Amazon reopened because they ran out. They ran out of stuff. They would have a
certain number of things,
right? And then
they'd open it at between 1 to 2 a.m. I figured that out. So you'd have to have stuff in your cart ready to go so that you could click. And sometimes by the time I clicked, purchase, it was it sold out, and it was that bad. But
I remember how when you did get stuff, you were like, I just got it was crazy. It was insane, and people are like, yeah, Biden's poll numbers are not good. Well, inflation is running worldwide like crazy. Gas prices.
Well, the war too is going to drive it up too.
Talking about gas prices. People keep talking about gas prices. Is that Trump actually wrote a law. Actually, he told Saudi we would not give them arms unless they stopped oil production during the pandemic because gas was negative. Okay, so and that just ended April 30th. Do you know that just ended April 30th? So the cutback.
Why are you still talking about Trump?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Well, because
April 30th was so long ago.
During
that was
COVID.
This is so fucking frustrating because everybody does this, and you're like, guys, we're fucked because
it's too many facts though. And by the way, anybody that you're talking to tuned out so long ago because it's too much, too many facts, too much words, too much. This episode brought to you by something that I enjoyed during COVID because I wasn't allowed to leave it. My lawn. Brought to you by Sunday.
It was a comment. By the way, our yard got so nice.
It was an oasis.
It was.
In a really scary time.
Is beautiful.
Thank you. Thanks, Sunday. I don't know how to take care of a lawn. And the good news is I don't have to know now. They send me things. I don't have to leave my house. I don't even have to talk to them or discuss it. There's no mediation. I just get a box.
You don't have to Zoom with the lawn guy.
I don't. I get a box and it changes. It's not the same thing. It's like, okay, now for this time of year, you need this. We just had a thing for drought, for high heat and not a lot of water availability. So put that on.
I haven't found a chink in their armor yet. Like because LA, California is getting really extreme with our weather, and they're still sending us stuff that will help us in the specific weather.
Yes.
That's the weird thing about Sundays. The specific shit that's going down, they're like, here, use this now, use this now, use this now. And they know people, they actually check your, like you can go to Sunday and they'll have a picture of your house. They have actually done soil, they've done research on what your soil should be. Then you send them a little bit of soil and they go, oh, okay, well, you've obviously had some construction or something, your soil's this. And then they send you exactly what your soil needs. It's pretty insane.
My grandma wants it now. She asked me how we do that because she's got all these bare patches and stuff.
Right.
And I was like, well, let me tell you. And I did a spiel for her and she was like, I need that. And so she's a little freaked out that she can see her house when she put in her, I was scared her a little bit.
It's okay. It's been around for a while. It's
totally,
okay.
I know. She doesn't know that. Totally. She thought she stopped that by putting tape over all of her iPad cameras and stuff.
Thanks, Edward Snowden, for scaring the hell out of grandma. It's psychopath.
Also, July 4th coming up. This is the season. Summertime, you get a beautiful lawn. You can control pests and fight weeds without the toxic stuff if you have pets and kids. And you yourself don't want to breathe in toxins and touch toxins. So right now, Sunday is offering the listeners of Titus Podcast 20% off.
What?
Full season plans start at just $129, and then you get 20% off of that when you visit getsunday.com/Titus at checkout. That's 20% off of your custom plan at getsunday.com/Titus. It's fun. It's like
you have joy. You come in and go, look at the lawn, look at the hedge, look at the lawn.
It's like lawn science.
So what I did was
it's like a peach tree dish.
Because you were just doing the lawn, and I went over and I put some of that stuff at the bottom of I went and put it under the hedge because I thought the hedge was getting. And we bought this house. Our hedge was like you could see through it.
Yeah,
you could not. The thing is,
and it was about a foot high and crooked and weird. And
it was a
now
Charlie Brown tree.
It's beautiful.
It's like does this. Our hedge is like doing this in the breeze.
I had eye surgery last week. By the way, let me wrap this up. Guns. There is no argument. It doesn't work. It doesn't work worldwide. There's no argument. It's not a single door. It's not more training. It's not anything. It's not anything except limit the guns to psychos that can't have it and have to step up and know what the fuck you're doing to own a gun.
Let's all just be adults and come together.
Can we just be adults
and have a conversation about what we can do?
Because what I'm pretty sure
and especially that we can look at other countries that they've done, because we have a roadmap. We can go to the chart and go, well, shit, this worked. Or our assault weapon ban, before it got lifted, it was helping. That was something that was helping.
Before we wrap that up, we should talk about doesn't the majority of the citizens here want stricter gun laws?
I think it's like 60 to 70%.
No,
right?
The majority is it's 79%. Okay, 79% believe that we need to do something. And I've seen a lot of people that are hardcore gun owners on my Twitter going, dude, I'm willing to give it up. It's enough. I'm done. It's enough.
But again, we're not asking you to give it up.
Right, but so if we don't have to, so then there's 30% left. We don't have to necessarily concern ourselves with the citizens that are arguing against it. We need to go legally. What is stopping it from getting these laws passed?
Hi, I'm the NRA. Hi, hey,
I know.
Citizens United.
We need to get some lawyers in here,
$2 million.
And we need to cut that out.
$2 million. Yeah, I'm going to give you $2 million.
I'm listening.
See?
Boom. And that happens all the time.
They've just released details that one of the teachers that was killed, her name is Eva Morales, that her husband was a police officer, that she was on the phone with him from inside the school. He was outside the school, separated by a wall, telling him what was going on.
And he still didn't go in.
He couldn't. He wasn't. I don't think he was on duty, but also, yes, they were told, which now tells us that at least one of the officers, maybe he was on duty, arriving at the scene had information from inside the classrooms that should have informed their decision. Whereas they're saying they didn't know. They thought he was barricaded. We now know that she was on the phone with him telling him.
This guy Arredondo needs to go. This guy who was running it needs to go. He needs to go.
Also, the 911 calls from students that started 30 minutes after the gunman arrived, there are many of those, and they haven't released those yet. So why are you standing outside? You got a teacher inside saying that the guy's in there.
You've got an AR on.
You can hear the gunshots.
There's parents
screaming.
Who are ready to run in unarmed.
And they zip tied down.
You're cuffing the parents, because
they zip tied down.
That's...
One woman said, fuck it, ran, got her 2 kids and got out.
Yeah, but they handcuffed another guy, and his daughter ended up being shot and killed.
This gets to me. Do you realize that all of our kids in the country right now, on every child in our country knows how to deal with a mass shooter drill?
Yeah, they're having shooter drills.
By the way, but here's the thing. So that's madness.
Yeah.
That's madness that our children have to be like, all right, if a guy comes in, we do this, we do that, we do this. So basically we're giving little kids the same kind of training that a military would get to being attacked. And nobody seems to want to stop that.
No, we want to beef up the door situation.
No,
too.
I know. We limit the doors and beef it up. So if we harden schools.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. The thing was a hospital. We have to harden the hospitals. We have to harden airports, which
theaters,
we've done.
Churches.
But someone pointed out that 9/11 happened and we fucking fixed that shit in 2 weeks. So why can't we fix this?
Even though we know more guns creates more gun violence. Let's have more guns.
But here's the thing.
Hey, I asked from the NRA. Hey.
Wait, but I have a question, Mr. NRA.
$2 million.
I know, but I'm just saying the guy that wasn't even very good at domestic terrorism, because of him, we still have to take our shoes off every time we go to the airport.
Well, the airport lobby's not very good. How much did the airport give you?
None.
I think 19 is the number. 19 children is the number.
$2 million. Come on, guys. Hey, all you got to do.
You're scary.
It's too traumatic in this country.
It's not your fault. It's the gunman's fault. You're not doing anything except protecting us. You know, you're protecting them. Hey, you're protecting freedom.
Oh, the NRA is Satan.
Do you know why? Because we're number one. And you know this, and I know this, that the only thing that stops a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun.
Is a child's body.
Just eat the apple.
Yeah. So, but do you hear? Wow. But do you hear? Like, imagine it. Like, I know how much $2 million is. Imagine someone just goes, "Hey," and by the way, because of Citizens United and the way the PACs are structured now, a lot of that money ends up with doesn't end up paying for campaign stuff. It ends up with the person that they give that money to. It's expenses. We all know taxes. We know expenses. What expenses? Well, I had a private jet. I had to go to Florida. My expenses. You know, I had to get a car. I had to get a car because I'm a congressman, so I needed a car.
When you're the NRA man, you should put on your eye surgery sunglasses.
So by the way, guys, I had eye surgery and I had a cataract surgery because I had one that was forming over the years. This has always been a bad eye. They put in a lens. I have an acrylic lens. They did an operation where they cut my eye open and they put in a lens in.
That's cool as hell.
They said it's supposed to get better 6 months. I can read things that I couldn't read before, but it's still not perfect. But I just found this. They gave me this in my bag of stuff with my eye drops.
Hey.
Oh yeah.
That it holds on itself is pretty awesome. How's it going out there, babies? What's going on? Yeah, I'd like to welcome you to Titus's Jazz Club. We in the future, about 4,800 years, and these are glasses now. Yeah, this is actually part of my skull. Yeah. Your blues is not going to change. 4,000 years from now,
same riff.
So anyway, I had eye surgery, which went really well. I had no pain, and I still don't know. They said it's getting better. I wish it was better. I wanted to put a. If you're gonna put a lens in, give me a lens. Give me. I want to see the moon. I want to be like boop.
Can you control things with it?
That's what I wanted, a bionic lens of some sort. And it went well. And you went to grandma's. Grandma's was nice. And your grandma had serious surgery.
Yep.
And again, grandma is a superhero. She's an Avenger. It's amazing how fast she heals.
She's 88. They removed a third of her colon. She took pain medication in the hospital the 2 days and then stopped. Said she didn't want it anymore. Didn't take any home. Didn't take Advil or Tylenol either. Just she was fine.
She's a badass.
She's a badass.
She's a badass.
And the doctor said a lot of people have trouble eating after that, having an appetite. Oh, Lord. Have mercy. She was...
No problem?
Oh,
no problem there?
Huh? My appetite's back. That's what she told me day one out of the hospital. I was like, all right then. So I was cooking for her.
Let's get this colon working.
Yep. You know what she did? I had
There was a little touch and go part.
I was limiting dairy, gluten, things like that, because there was some initial in the hospital. Right. Surprise. And I was unwilling to deal with any more surprises in my life. I've been a caregiver and I am past that now. I'll still take care of people, but I've learned...
You've given enough.
You're following these rules. These are the parameters.
If you want me to take care of you, here's what's going to happen.
You're not pooping on
Adult diapers, number one. Made that stop at Walgreens before she ever got home.
That's a base level rule. You're not pooping on me.
Yeah.
And they don't give you these when you...
No. So I went out on her back porch. She has a swing back there, and I was talking to my stepfather, and so I wasn't giving her sugar or anything. And I come back in. She's in her recliner as though she never moved. And she hears me come in, and I hear rustle, and she goes, "Oh, honey, can I have this rice pudding?" She had a cup of pudding all of a sudden. She had gotten up, gotten it, opened it, gotten a spoon, sat back down in the recliner, got busted. And I said, "You know what, Grandma? I wouldn't. It's sugar and it's dairy." And she goes, "Oh, okay, then you better take it from me." So I go and I take it from her. And I realize as I get in the kitchen that it is a big cup of rice pudding sitting in an empty cup that once had rice pudding. She had gotten two, finished one, put it in the empty one, and was eating. Yeah.
That's a good sign.
Oh my God.
Totally busted.
What?
Yeah.
Honey, can I have this?
Can I have this?
What are you, 4?
Yes.
You're a grown-ass person.
Oh, well, then you better take it from me. I said, "Did you eat?" And then she just so
wow,
whatever.
That's insanity.
Yep, can't beat her. She's
Guys,
wily.
We are getting ready currently to go to Scotland. We are going to be doing the Fringe Festival in Scotland, Rachel and I. Rachel will be doing her show, Beauty for Ashes. I will be doing Carrying Monsters, which I'm relearning right now, which is, I read it yesterday a lot. It scared the shit out of me, honestly. I had to be, I was like, it's very dense. It's very dense.
We also, this Friday and Saturday, are going to be 3rd and 4th at Flappers and Burbank. So he'll be doing a totally different show if you were there last time. So come out for that. And then next week, I'm headlining Tempe Improv on the 9th on the Thursday. And then he's doing the weekend at Tempe Improv. So come out and see that too. You're doing, I think so. Yeah.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then the next week after that, we go to...
I don't know. There's only so much I can do. Okay, so we had Joshua Cruson sent this in. I don't know if you heard it, but okay.
It's Hylinder sunshine.
I like his goofy at the end.
Because it's fun.
Okay. All right. Thank you for sending us a bumper.
Thank you, Josh. Yep.
And now, Highlander's Fun Facts with the Highlander.
The inventor of the Pringles can is now buried in one.
No way.
Come on.
Please tell me it's not actual size.
His ashes?
It must be. It's got to be his ashes.
Yeah, they put his ashes in it.
In 1966, Frederick Bauer developed the ingenious idea for Procter & Gamble to uniformly stack chips inside a can instead of tossing them in a bag. He was so proud of his invention that he wanted to take it to the grave, literally.
Is this the guy that invented because Pringles aren't, they're potato, it's a potato processed paste that they form.
That's delicious.
What?
Processed paste.
Oh, yeah, they don't, how do you think they make, what do you think, they cut the potatoes like that?
Yeah.
There's not like a slicer that has a curve
and it cuts every potato perfectly, so they just dump. No, it's a potato. There's actually a whole documentary about it. It's a potato paste thing that they make, and then they form the chips out of it. And is that the guy invented it, or the guy invented the can?
He invented the can.
Oh, wow. Okay.
He communicated his burial wishes to his family, and when he died at 89.
I love this guy.
But his children stopped at Walgreens on the way to the funeral home to buy his burial Pringles can. They had one decision to make, though.
They didn't have a contact at the company.
Exactly. They didn't have like a custom one.
Hey, Dad invented one. Can I get a nice one?
Inventor. Can we have like a custom one with his face?
Not like one out of the Walgreens. Something nice.
No, then we're going to stop at fucking CVS and get...
I didn't ever know that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still potatoes.
Wait, her family went and bought a can. His family went and bought a can and put it.
They didn't have one ready.
And they were on the way to where they're going to actually. We did love that so much. Finish this up. We missing money. By the way, without Dad, we wouldn't even have this.
How'd they fit him in one can? Was he little?
I probably didn't put all of it. They wanted just to bury part of him in it because I don't know if you guys ever got ashes. It is not.
Yeah.
It's not. They don't grind you down to this. It's I
a
got
lot.
two.
Yeah. Is it a
giant?
Yeah.
Oh, it's boxes. Like
depending
I
on
got
the size of the person.
My dad was
yeah.
6'4", 6'3", so I got two giant boxes of Dad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not like the pretty little tiny urn that people are always.
Yeah, exactly.
It goes on our mantle.
And by the way, she was a dancer, so we put it's a box with her ashes, and if you hit it, it's a music box that plays her favorite song.
I thought since you're like 99% water, it's just like a little
think,
teeny
right?
bit.
Yeah, it turns out no.
His dad was not 99% water.
A lot of
His
skeleton.
dad was 17% beer.
Yeah, 17%. Yeah, exactly.
What else?
12% misogyny.
15% chili. And pizza.
Pizza and linguiça. 4% linguiça.
What is linguiça?
It's a serious ass sausage. It's a serious ass, hardcore, fatty, spicy sausage.
Okay.
And he loved it. It was great. It's awesome. All right, that was a fun fact. So, I love that he was buried in a Pringle can. That's just, I think that, I just don't understand. Like again, it goes to what I said in Zero Side Effects. We're all going to be forgotten. So he's like, why not have fun with it? At the end. Yeah, I help invented the Pringles can. Fucking bury me in a Pringles can.
Bob Marley was buried with his legendary guitar.
We had a plan to go dig that up.
Yeah, I'm going to get it.
Go figure it out.
Yeah, that's going to be my big heist. Because you know how much that would go for on the black market?
Hey, this is Bob Marley's guitar that he was buried with. How'd you get it? Why you got to ask so many questions?
Yeah.
Why you asking so many questions?
Yeah.
Guys, come see us this weekend at Flappers. We're doing Carrying Monsters, which was the show I was working on before COVID hit, and then I wrote a whole new COVID show. Ray will be doing new stuff from Beauty for Ashes. Oh,
that I don't have yet. We're both about this weekend. We've been off for 4 weeks.
Fear.
Yeah.
But we peaked it. We got a new special and everything's great. And it's done a special. By the way, Zero Side Effects, dude. Great job. It came out so good. Guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I do understand that sometimes we talk about issues that are hard to talk about and they're very polarizing. But man, that's what we do here at the Armageddon Update. Scream sanity to all these people. What's great, I want to thank you gun owners that have actually kind of stepped up and said, you know what, I'm getting rid of it. There's a guy named Richard Small that went on CNN, hardcore, lifetime NRA member, him and his wife. And here's what I got about conservatives. And because of some of our family is, conservatives aren't evil. They're not bad people. They just believe what they believe. And this guy and his wife went to Uvalde. His wife said, I want to go, help whatever I can do, help calm these people down. So they went, and he goes, I was hanging around, and he's on CNN, and he goes, and I realized, why do I have an AR-15? I thought it was cool to have. He said on the barrel, it's actually engraved for police use only. Mm-hmm. He goes, why do I have this gun?
Because his name's Dick Small.
No, well, he was really a good dude. Yeah, I thought that too. And he went on and he said, I turned it into the police. And he goes, I'm not in the NRA anymore. He goes, it doesn't make sense that we're killing children.
If you're in the NRA, still go and read what Wayne LaPierre did with your
money
membership dues, and then tell me why.
And
you're
that's
still...
the guy who's the man, Wayne LaPierre and Tucker Carlson. Is that what you guys think men are? A guy
anyway,
who tans
to
his
be
nuts.
continued next week.
And then you know what else? And then
is
that
later for him and me.
For myself, the lovely Bombshell Ray and the Hylinder. Later.
Peace out.
Thank you very much.